Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to treat brand building like architecture. We're taking you all the way from pouring the initial foundation of a small local mom-and-pop shop right up to the meticulous, copy-paste replication of a massive global franchise skyscraper. Because let's be real, if you actually want to scale your business, you can't just wing it. You have to build it systematically from the ground up.
So, let's dive right into this incredibly powerful idea. People have personalities, right? But businesses have brands. This completely separates a mere business concept from an emotional, instantly recognized entity out there in the marketplace. Your brand is basically the living, breathing public image you put out into the world. It's the gut feeling and the expectations that the public inherently links to your company.
And listen, if you think this is all just about aesthetics and looking pretty, think again. Cultivating real brand loyalty can boost your customer lifetime value by up to 300%. I mean, just think about that number for a second. That's massive. It proves that structured branding isn't just art, it's a strict financial imperative. Customers who actually feel a strong affinity for your brand, they spend more, they buy more frequently, and honestly, they're significantly cheaper to acquire.
So here's our blueprint for today. We'll start by defining your brand foundation, move into designing your core brand assets. Then, create your style guide, draft the franchise operations manual, and finally, we'll talk about scaling with true brand consistency.
All right, let's kick things off with Phase 1, defining your brand foundation.
The truth is, you absolutely have to know exactly who you're talking to before you even think about designing a single logo. It's a step-by-step process. You start by identifying your target audience, then you clearly define your core purpose and where you fit in the market. From there, you develop a totally distinct brand personality, and finally, you weave all of that into a story that actually connects with people on an emotional level.
You've got to deliberately pick your lane here. Are you going for Harley-Davidson's famous ruggedness? Or maybe you're targeting Gen Z with an exciting, highly casual tone? Establishing this core personality acts like a magnet for the exact customers you want. It totally dictates the vibe across every single touchpoint of your business.
Moving right along to Phase 2, designing core brand assets.
Now this is the fun part, where your strategy actually becomes visual. You're combining elements like color psychology and typography to forge immediate, undeniable recognition. You might humanize your business with a mascot, like Wendy's, or rely entirely on typography with a classic, sleek wordmark like Coca-Cola. The end goal? You want to choose a visual metaphor that instantly signals your specific personality directly to the human brain.
But remember, your brand is linguistic too. Let's take Nike as the gold standard here. Your internal mission statement is basically the target. It guides everything your company does behind closed doors. But your slogan? That is your megaphone. It acts as the catchy, customer-facing phrase that concisely broadcasts your attitude for the whole world to hear.
Okay, on to Phase 3, creating your style guide.
Time for a hard truth. You literally cannot write a franchise operations manual down the line if you haven't first codified exactly what your brand is right now. Think of a brand guideline as your centralized rulebook. It's the document that guarantees every single employee, agency partner, and future franchisee knows exactly how to represent your business to the world without warping it or twisting it over time.
These right here, completely non-negotiable. You have to lock them down early. You need to specify the exact minimum clear space around your logo, the precise typography you use for print versus digital, and the exact hex codes for your colors. Why? Because it prevents some rogue partner from stretching your logo into a weird shape or using some cheap-looking shade of blue on a massive highway billboard.
You know what's way better than a dusty, static PDF buried in some corporate desktop folder? A live digital style guide. It acts as an absolute shield for your reputation because it can be instantly updated, keeping everyone perfectly on the same page. Remember, every single time someone misuses your visual identity, it subtly fractures the public's trust in your quality.
Next up, Phase 4, the franchise operations manual.
This quote right here. It is the absolute secret sauce to scaling up from a single local coffee shop to a global powerhouse. Think about it. McDonald's didn't conquer the entire world because they made an impossible-to-replicate burger. No way. They scaled because they captured decades of trial and error into an airtight system that guarantees identical execution in every single market on Earth.
If you want to scale safely, you kind of have to think of it like aviation. You really need two different manuals. First,
You've got the engineering plans. Let's call that the build manual, to actually construct the physical location to your exact brand standard. Second, you need the flight manual. That's your day-to-day operations guide that lets a franchisee safely pilot the business every single day without crashing.
You have to get incredibly granular here. You must document absolutely everything. We're talking the exact temperature of the espresso milk, standard cash handling procedures, all the way down to the specific customer service scripts your staff uses. You do all this heavy lifting so that a customer stepping into a brand new franchise halfway across the country gets the exact same feeling and experience as they would at your original flagship store.
Finally, let's head to the top floor with Phase 5, scaling with brand consistency.
Now, watch out for this massive operational trap. If you hand a franchisee a dense, confusing binder full of corporate jargon that doesn't actually explain the reasoning behind the rules, they're going to ignore it. You must explain the why. If washing a machine in a highly specific way prevents a $10,000 breakdown, well, tell them that. Clear, simple language paired with the actual context ensures your standards are embraced, not just skimmed over. And the financial payoff for getting this stuff right? It is huge. The data shows that a new franchise has a 6.3% higher success rate than an equivalent independent business. And why is that? Because these incredibly detailed step-by-step operations manuals act as both a safety net and a high-octane growth engine. They leave absolutely nothing to guesswork. So as you look at your own professional endeavors today, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. Are you just stuck in the day-to-day operations, running around putting out fires? Or are you actively documenting your brilliance right now, building a system so that your empire can finally scale? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I genuinely hope it sparks some inspiration for you to start building your skyscraper today.